They called her trash, made her scrub toilets in her own father's house, threw $20 at her feet like she was nothing. But what they didn't know, she owned 90% of everything they were trying to steal. This is the true story of Emma Hart, a 28-year-old woman who lost everything in a single day: her father, her home, her inheritance. Thrown out onto the street, pregnant, alone, forced to beg her stepmother for a job as a maid just to survive. For 9 months, she served the woman who murdered her father, ate scraps from their plates, endured humiliation in front of Charlotte's elite, all while being slowly poisoned. But here's what her stepmother Diane didn't know. Emma's father had set a trap, a $180 million trap. And Emma? She was gathering evidence, recording every confession, waiting for the perfect moment to destroy them all. One gala, 200 witnesses, and 60 seconds that would change everything. This is a story about betrayal, survival, and the kind of revenge that served ice cold. It's about a daughter who crawled through hell to honor her father's memory. And it's about discovering that sometimes the quietest person in the room is the most dangerous. Stay with me, because what happens next, you won't believe it. The champagne glass shattered at my feet, sending crystal shards across the marble ballroom floor like tiny diamonds. My stepmother Diane's laughter echoed through the crowd, that cruel, high-pitched sound I'd learned to hate over the past 9 months. "Clean it up, trash," she commanded, her voice dripping with satisfaction, loud enough for Charlotte's elite to hear. But what she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that in 60 seconds, they would discover the truth. I wasn't the maid. I owned everything, and I was about to destroy her world. Let me take you back to where this nightmare really began. 3 months before that gala, at my father's funeral. The rain fell hard that day, as if the sky itself was mourning. I stood by my father's grave at Elmwood Cemetery, numb, watching the coffin lower into the ground. Richard Hart, age 58, dead from what they called a heart attack. Sudden, unexpected, devastating. At 28 years old, I'd lost the only person who truly loved me. My hand rested on my stomach, 5 months pregnant, not showing yet under my loose black dress. I'd planned to tell him the news that weekend. Now he'd never know he was going to be a grandfather. I touched the gold locket around my neck, my mother's locket. She'd died when I was 7. Now both my parents were gone. Diane stood beside me in a $5,000 Chanel suit, sobbing dramatically into a monogrammed silk handkerchief. Her daughter Vanessa rubbed her back, whispering comfort. To everyone watching, they looked like the grieving widow and stepdaughter. But I saw something else. During the eulogy, Diane checked her phone. A text flashed on the screen. "It's done, papers are ready, meet me tonight, -DB. She caught me watching, gave me a cold smile, and put the phone away. Grace Thompson, our housekeeper for 20 years, squeezed my shoulder. "Your daddy loved you more than anything, baby girl. Don't you forget that, no matter what happens next." "What do you mean, Grace?" I asked. Before she could answer, Diane called out, "Emma, darling, ride with us. We need to discuss the arrangements." Something in my gut twisted. Something was very, very wrong. 1 week later, we gathered in the law office of Morrison and Associates for the reading of the will. The room smelled like old books and leather. I sat across from Diane and Vanessa. David Brennan, my father's business partner, was also present. Tall, charming, seemingly supportive. The attorney, Mr. Morrison, cleared his throat and began reading. "I, Richard Hart, being of sound mind and body, do hereby bequeath my entire estate, including 90% ownership of Hart and Home Incorporated, the family residence at 1847 Queens Road, and all financial assets held in trust, to my daughter, Emma Louise Hart." Complete silence. Diane's coffee cup slipped from her hand, hit the floor but didn't break, just rolled in a slow circle. "What?" she shrieked, jumping to her feet. Mr. Morrison continued calmly. "To my wife, Diane Hart, I leave the sum of $50,000 and the Mercedes she currently drives." $50,000. Diane's face went from white to red. "I was his wife. I took care of him for 2 years. I nursed him through his illness." Vanessa looked shocked but stayed quiet. I sat frozen, clutching my father's watch, the one the hospital had given me with his personal effects. I didn't know he was going to do this, I said quietly. You conniving little bitch, Diane hissed, pointing at me. You poisoned his mind against me, didn't you? After everything I did for that man. David Brennan stood. Diane, please. Let's all take a breath. Did you know about this? No, I swear, Dad never said anything. Diane gave a bitter laugh. Of course not. Saint Emma can't even give her father a grandchild before he dies, but somehow she gets everything. My hand instinctively went to my stomach. I said nothing, protecting my secret. Mr. Morrison continued. The estate must go through probate, standard procedure, approximately 3 to 4 months. During that time, all assets are frozen. Diane's cold smile returned. 3 to 4 months. That's plenty of time to find the truth. Richard wasn't himself those last few months, making strange decisions. I'm sure there are debts, complications, things Emma doesn't know about. What are you talking about? I asked. You'll see, sweetheart. You'll see. She stormed out. Vanessa lingered at the door. I'm sorry, Vanessa said quietly. Mom's just upset. She'll calm down. Vanessa, do you know something I don't? She wouldn't meet my eyes. I have to go. I should have been more afraid. I should have seen what was coming. 3 days later, I came home from the doctor, 12-week prenatal checkup, baby healthy, I'd heard the heartbeat, and found the locks changed on my childhood home. I stood on the porch where my mother used to read me stories, where my father taught me to ride a bike, and my key didn't work. I rang the doorbell, confused. Vanessa opened the door. Behind her stood Diane, dressed in one of my father's expensive silk robes, holding a leather folder. 2 security guards flanked her, men I'd never seen before. Why doesn't my key work? I asked. Because of this, Diane said, opening the folder. She spread documents across the entryway table. Bank statements showing $4 million in business loans. Medical bills from a clinic I'd never heard of. Legal documents with my signature as co-guarantor. Your father had debts, Emma. Gambling debts. That's impossible. My father didn't gamble. Are you sure? Because these documents say otherwise. And look, that's your signature, guaranteeing repayment. I picked up the papers with shaking hands. I never signed these. This isn't even my handwriting. Are you calling your dead father a liar? These are legal documents, Emma, filed with the county, your signature, your responsibility. The security guard stepped forward. Ma'am, we need you to leave the property. Leave? This is my house. My father left it to me. Actually, it's in probate, Diane said coldly, which means it's part of the estate, which means it's collateral for these debts. Until this is resolved, I, as Richard's widow, maintain legal residence. You do not. You can't do this. You have 2 options. Sign over 80% of the company to me, and I'll forgive these debts. Or refuse, and watch your father's entire legacy get destroyed in bankruptcy court. His name will be dragged through every newspaper in North Carolina. Is that what you want? Those documents are fake. Would cost money, you don't have to prove it. I've frozen the trust, Emma. You're broke. Now you're going to leave. The guards grabbed my arms. Not rough, but firm. Wait, I need my things. Vanessa brought out a single suitcase. My clothes were just thrown in, wrinkled. Vanessa, please. We were friends once. You know this isn't right. Vanessa had tears in her eyes, but her voice was flat. I'm sorry, Emma. Diane pulled out her wallet, counted out bills, and threw them at my feet. Here's what trash like you deserves. $20. Don't spend it all in one place. The bills scattered on the marble floor, the same floor where my mother used to dance with me. Pick it up, Diane commanded. No, I said quietly. Then starve. Get her out of here. They escorted me to the driveway. The door slammed behind me. That night, I slept in my 10-year-old Honda Civic in a Walmart parking lot. It was 11 at night. I had nowhere to go. $247 in my checking account. The $20 from Diane still in my pocket. My hand went to my stomach. I'm so sorry, baby, I whispered. I don't know how to protect you. I tried calling my college roommate, voicemail. My cousin in Atlanta, phone disconnected. I had no one. I remembered my father's last words to me 3 days before he died. Charlie Bear, no matter what happens, remember, you're stronger than you think. And you're never alone. I made sure of that. But I am alone, Dad, I said to the empty car. I'm so alone. I cried myself to sleep in the driver's seat, parked under a streetlight, clutching my mother's locket. I dreamed of my mother that night. I was 7 years old again, and she was tucking me into bed. Mommy, what if something bad happens to you? Then you'll be brave, she said, brushing my hair. Just like the heart women have always been. We don't break, baby girl. We bend, but we don't break. The dream shifted. My father's voice. Charlie Bear, if something ever happens to me, if you're ever in trouble you can't handle alone, remember what your mother left you. It's more than just a locket. I woke with a gasp. Dawn was breaking. My neck hurt from sleeping at an awkward angle. I opened my mother's locket, looked at the photo inside. Me as a baby, cradled in her arms. More than just a locket. What did you mean, Dad? I examined it carefully. The back opened slightly. There was a hidden compartment I'd never known about. Inside, a tiny piece of paper with a phone number in my father's handwriting. And 2 words, Carolina bluebells. My mother's favorite flower. I needed a place to shower and change clothes. The YMCA let me use their facilities for $5. In the locker room, I overheard 2 women talking. Did you hear about the Hart scandal? Apparently Richard Hart was a gambling addict. I heard his daughter is broke, living in her car. Well, what did she expect? You can't just inherit millions without knowing how to manage it. I clutched my small bag of toiletries, fighting back tears. My phone rang. David Brennan. Emma, honey, I just heard what happened. Are you okay? David, I don't know what to do. Diane says Dad had gambling debts, but I know that's not true. You worked with him every day. You'd know if he had a problem, right? There was a long pause. Emma, I didn't want to tell you this, but your dad had been acting strange the last 6 months. Missing meetings, making odd financial decisions, withdrawing large sums of cash. No, there has to be an explanation. I thought it was stress, but now seeing these documents, Emma, I think he might have been hiding something. My dad wouldn't lie to me. Listen, why don't you come stay with Claire and me for a few days? We have a guest house behind our main property. You shouldn't have been thrown in your air right now. I was desperate. Really? You'd do that? Your father was my best friend. Of course I'll help you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That evening I arrived at David and Claire's estate in Myers Park. Modern, sleek, expensive. Claire Sutton Brennan greeted me at the door. Beautiful, polished, cold. Emma, I'm so sorry about your situation. David told me everything. Thank you for letting me stay. I promise it's just for a few days. Of course, the guest house is out back. It's small, but it has everything you need. The guest house was actually nice. 1 bedroom, kitchenette, bathroom. I broke down crying the moment I was alone, finally able to let go. I unpacked my single suitcase. Vanessa had only packed 3 outfits, no photos, none of my mother's things. This is my life now, I whispered to the empty room. This is all I have. That night, around 11, I couldn't sleep. I heard voices from the main house through the cracked window. Claire's voice. How long do we have to keep her here? David, until Diane gets the signatures. Just play nice. Claire, I don't like this, David. What if she finds out about you and Diane? David, she won't. Keep your voice down. Claire, pushing her. And what about the embezzlement? If she starts asking questions about the company finances, well, David, she's broke, grieving, and pregnant. She's not asking questions. She's just trying to survive. I froze. They knew I was pregnant? Claire, this whole thing makes me sick. We're ruining that girl's life. David, his voice cold. That girl stands between us and $50 million. Once the company sells, we can finally be together. Really together. You can divorce Marcus, I'll leave Helen, and we'll disappear to the Caymans. Claire, did you promise? You promise? David, I promise, but first we need Emma to sign. So smile, be sympathetic, and let Diane do the rest. I sat in the dark, hand on my stomach, terrified. Everyone I trusted was working against me. The next morning at 6, I snuck out before David and Claire woke up. I sat in my car in a gas station parking lot, hands shaking as I dialed the number from the locket. It rang 4 times. Voicemail. An automated voice. You've reached a secure line. Leave a message. I almost hung up. Then I remembered. Carolina Bluebells. This is Emma Hart, Richard Hart's daughter. My father left me this number. He said if something happened to him, if I was in trouble, Carolina Bluebells. Please, if anyone gets this message, I need help. I ended the call and sat in silence. Nothing. Great, even Dad's secret plan doesn't work, I said bitterly. I was about to start the car when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? A woman's voice, professional and kind. Emma Hart? Yes? My name is Patricia Monroe. I was your father's private attorney, the real one. He hired me 8 months ago when he discovered what Diane was planning. I need you to listen very carefully and do exactly what I say. Do not go back to David Brennan's house. Do you understand? How did you know I was? Your father told me you were smart but too trusting. He knew David would offer to help you. He knew Diane would lock you out. He knew everything, Emma, and he planned for it. I don't understand. What's happening? Meet me at the Starbucks on Providence Road in 30 minutes. Come alone. Don't tell anyone. Your father left you something, but first I need to make sure you're safe. Why should I trust you? Everyone else has been lying. Your father called you Charlie Bear. Your mother's favorite flower was Carolina Bluebells. You have a birthmark on your left shoulder shaped like a heart, and you're 12 weeks pregnant with a girl. I gasped. How do you know that? Because your father knew, and he made me promise to protect you both. 30 minutes, Emma. Don't be late. I sat in a corner booth at Starbucks, nursing a decaf coffee I couldn't afford. Patricia Monroe walked in, 52, dressed in a sharp navy suit, carrying a leather briefcase. Professional but warm. Emma, you look just like Sarah. You knew my mother? I went to law school with her. Before she got sick. Your father reached out to me 8 months ago because he knew I'd do whatever it took to protect you. Because I loved your mother like a sister. Tears formed in my eyes. Everyone loved my mom. She was special. And so are you. Now I need to tell you things that are going to be hard to hear. Are you ready? I don't think I have a choice. Patricia opened her briefcase and pulled out medical reports. Your father was being poisoned, slowly, carefully over 6 months. Antifreeze, ethylene glycol, mixed into his coffee every morning. Small doses. It mimics heart disease, fatigue, confusion, organ failure. My hand went to my mouth. Oh my God. He went to the doctor for memory issues and fatigue. Private tests revealed the truth. But here's the thing, Emma. Your father was already dying. What? Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Diagnosed 18 months before he met Diane. He had maybe 8 months left. He kept it secret because you were finishing your master's degree, and he didn't want to burden you. I sobbed. He was dying and he didn't tell me? Patricia took my hand. He wanted your last months with him to be happy, not overshadowed by death. So the cancer killed him? Not Diane? No, the cancer was slow. Diane's poison accelerated it. And when that wasn't fast enough, she caused the car accident. We have evidence now. Brake lines were cut. She murdered him, I whispered. Yes, but Emma, there's more. Diane isn't just a murderer. She's a serial killer. She's done this before twice. 2 previous husbands, both wealthy, both died under mysterious circumstances. And the police never caught her? She's careful, no evidence, no pattern. Different methods, different states. Your father figured it out when he started investigating her background. That's when he hired me. So we go to the police. Show them what you have. Patricia shook her head. We tried. Without a confession, without direct evidence, they can't touch her. That's why your father created a plan, and you're the key to it. She pulled out more documents. Blind trust paperwork, corporate structure charts, bank statements. The heart and home that Diane thinks she's stealing? It's worthless. A shell company. Your father moved all the real assets, the patents, the intellectual property, the real estate, the supplier contracts, into a blind trust 14 months ago. That trust activated the day he died. I don't understand. The company David Brennan co-owns, the one Diane is trying to sell, it's worth maybe $200,000 in office furniture in the Heart and Home name. That's it. The real Heart and Home, worth $180 million, is in a separate entity, and you, Emma Hart, own 90% of it. I stared at the documents. What? You're worth $162 million. You have been since the day your father died. Your trust not liquidated until probate closes, which happens in 2 weeks. But Diane said I was broke, that the trust was frozen. She froze the $5 million personal trust, your dad's checking accounts and personal savings. That's frozen during probate. But this trust, she tapped the document, this is protected. She doesn't even know it exists. My head spun. So I could just leave, take the money and disappear? You could, but Diane would never face justice. She'd do this again, to someone else's father, someone else's family. What are you asking me to do? Patricia leaned forward. Your father spent his last 3 months creating a trap. Diane thinks she's won. David thinks he's won. They're planning to sell the fake company to a weapons dealer named Leonard Cross. David's been embezzling from Heart and Home for years. Once the company is sold, they'll split the money and disappear. So we stop the sale. No, we let them think they're winning, and then we make them confess. On record, with witnesses. How? Patricia hesitated. You go back to them. You beg for mercy. You let them humiliate you. You work for them, serve them, let them think you're broken. And you record everything. You become their maid for 2 weeks until probate closes. You want me to go back to the woman who murdered my father? I want you to get justice, but Emma, there's something else you need to know. She opened another medical file. What? Fear gripped me. You've been feeling sick, right? Nausea, fatigue, dizzy spells. I'm pregnant. That's normal. It's not just pregnancy, Emma. We had your blood tested. From samples your doctor sent for prenatal screening. You're being poisoned too, the same way your father was. The world tilted. What? Diane's been putting small amounts of antifreeze in your food. She started 2 months ago when she suspected you might be pregnant. She wants you dead too. My hand went to my stomach, terrified. My baby. The baby is okay, Patricia said quickly. Pregnancy actually protects you. Your body is processing toxins differently, and the baby's absorbing some of it, which ironically is saving your life. But Emma, after you give birth, how long do I have? With treatment, you'll be fine. We can chelate the toxins, flush your system. Without treatment, maybe 3 months after delivery. I whispered, she's trying to kill my baby. No, your baby is keeping you alive. But Emma, this means you can't stay with David and Claire either. They might be in on it. I heard them last night. They know everything. Then we can use that, but first we need to get you somewhere safe. Patricia took me to a corporate apartment in South End, modern, secure, fully furnished. This is yours, paid through your trust, the one Diane doesn't know about. I looked around, overwhelmed. I can stay here? It's yours, food in the fridge, medical supplies, prenatal vitamins, everything you need. And Emma, tomorrow we start the treatment to remove the poison from your system. But we have to be careful. If Diane finds out you're getting medical care, she'll know something's wrong. I sat heavily on the couch. So what's the plan? I just go back and let her torture me? You go back and pretend to be broken. But you're not broken, Emma. You're gathering evidence. And in 2 weeks, when probate closes and the truth comes out, you'll have everything you need to put her in prison for life. What if I can't do it? What if I'm not strong enough? Patricia knelt in front of me. Your mother was the strongest woman I ever knew. She fought cancer for 2 years, never complained, never gave up. That strength is in you. Your father knew it. That's why he chose you for this. But I'm scared. I'm so scared. Being scared means you're human. Doing it anyway, that makes you a heart. That night I lay in the unfamiliar bed, one hand on my stomach. I don't know if I can do this, I whispered to my baby, but I'm going to try for Grandpa, for the other families she hurt. And for you, little one, so you grow up in a world where people like Diane don't get away with murder. The next morning, I called Diane from a burner phone Patricia gave me. Well, well, the prodigal daughter, come to your senses? My voice was deliberately broken. I'll sign whatever you want. Just, please. Please what, sweetheart? I need money for food, for the baby. Long silence. So you are pregnant. How far along? 12 weeks, Diane laughed. Oh, this is perfect. Who's the father? Some deadbeat who left you? I swallowed my pride. I don't want to talk about it. Please, Diane, I just need help. I'll sign over the company. All of it. Just give me a mom. Anything. Minimum wage. I just need to survive. About? Doing what? I'll clean. Cook. Whatever you need, please. You want to be my maid? Is that what you're saying? I closed my eyes. Yes. Say it clearly. Tell me exactly what you're asking for. I'm asking to work for you. As your housekeeper. In my father's house. Diane laughed so hard she could barely speak. Oh, Emma, this is too good. Too perfect. You know what? I'll do it. You can work for me. Minimum wage. $7.25 an hour. You'll work 6 days a week, 8-hour shifts. And Emma, you'll call me ma'am every time you speak to me. Yes, ma'am. I didn't hear you. Louder. Yes, ma'am, a good girl. Now, there are conditions. You'll sign a contract that says you will never contest my ownership of heart and home. You'll acknowledge that you were mistaken about the will, that you understand your father's debts supersede any inheritance, and you'll agree that any breach of this contract results in immediate termination and a $1 million penalty you'll owe me. Do you understand? I understand. You start tomorrow, 6 a.m. Use the service entrance. And Emma, don't be late. Trash like you is easy to replace. She hung up. I sat in silence, then looked at Patricia, who'd been listening on speaker. That was perfect. She thinks she's won. I felt dead inside. She has won. You heard her? I'm nobody now. No, you're exactly where we need you to be, on the inside, recording everything. She handed me a small device, looked like a normal fitness tracker. This records continuously. Everything you see, everything you hear. And Emma, I know this is going to be hell. But remember, every day you survive is one day closer to justice. I looked at the device. My father died so I could have this evidence. I'm not going to waste his sacrifice. The next 14 days were the longest of my life. Day 1, I arrived at the service entrance at 5:55. Diane made me wait outside until exactly 6. You're early. I don't pay for early. She handed me a gray maid's uniform, cheap, ill-fitting. Bathroom's there, change. And Emma, fix your hair. You look like trash. I changed in the bathroom that used to be the powder room where my mother taught me to wash my hands properly. Now it was where I transformed into the help. Week 1, I was 13 weeks pregnant, not showing yet. I scrubbed toilets, mopped floors, washed windows. My body, already weak from the poison, found every task exhausting. Vanessa watched from doorways, guilt on her face, but said nothing. One afternoon, Diane inspected my work. You missed a spot. Do it again. Yes, ma'am. And Emma, smile when you say it. You're grateful for this job, remember? I smiled. It felt like my face was cracking. Week 2, I was 14 weeks, starting to show slightly. Diane hosted a dinner party. 8 guests, Charlotte's elite, people who knew my father. A woman asked Diane, "Is that Richard's daughter?" Diane spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. Oh, yes. Poor thing couldn't manage the inheritance. Gambling debts, you know, we kept her on out of pity. She's quite good with the mop. Laughter around the table. My hands shook as I poured wine. I spilled a drop on the tablecloth. Careful, Diane snapped. God, she's useless. Clean that up. I knelt to blot it. I'm sorry, ma'am. A guest whispered to her husband. How sad. Richard must be rolling in his grave. Week 3, Vanessa's friends visited for brunch. 4 young women in designer clothes, trust fund brats who'd never worked a day in their lives. One said deliberately loud, "So this is the maid you were telling me about, the one who used to be rich?" Vanessa looked uncomfortable. Guys, don't. Another friend accidentally knocked her mimosa over. Glass shattered. Orange juice and champagne soaked my uniform. Oops, so sorry. Clean it up? I got on hands and knees picking up glass shards. Yes, ma'am. One girl took photos. This is going on Instagram. How the mighty have fallen. Vanessa stood abruptly. Stop it, just stop. Diane entered. Problem, ladies? Mom, they're being cruel. They're being honest. Emma, when you're done cleaning that up, there's vomit in the guest bathroom. Apparently someone can't hold their liquor. Week 5. I was 17 weeks, clearly pregnant now. Grace, our former housekeeper, tried to visit. She brought me food secretly. In the kitchen whispering, baby girl, you shouldn't be doing this. You're pregnant. You need rest. I'm fine, Grace. I promise. This ain't right. Your daddy would be heartbroken seeing you like this. Diane appeared in the doorway. Grace, what are you doing in my house? Mrs. Hart, I just came to what? Undermine my authority? Emma works for me now, and I don't need you poisoning her mind against me. Get out. I've known this family for 20 years, and now you know them for 0. Security! Grace was escorted out. She looked back at me, heartbroken. Diane turned to me. Let that be a lesson. No one helps trash. You're alone here, completely alone. I believed her. In that moment, I truly believed I was alone. Week 7, 19 weeks pregnant, showing significantly. I ate dinner alone in the kitchen after serving Diane and Vanessa. My meal was leftover scraps from their plates. Vanessa walked in and caught me. Emma, what are you doing? Eating dinner. That's our leftovers. Your mother doesn't let me take food from the refrigerator. This is what I get. Tears formed in Vanessa's eyes. This is wrong. This is so wrong. Then stop it. I can't. You don't understand. My mom, she'll what, Vanessa? Hurt you? She murdered my father. What do you think she'll do to me? Vanessa backed away. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She left. I continued eating, silent tears running down my face. Week 10, 22 weeks pregnant, baby moving. I was cleaning the master bedroom, my father's bedroom, where Diane now slept. I found photos of my father shoved in a drawer, face down. I picked one up, Dad smiling, healthy, at my college graduation. I'm sorry, Daddy, I whispered. I'm so sorry you're not here. The baby kicked for the first time. I gasped, hand on my stomach. Hi, baby girl. Hi. I promise I'm going to give you a better life than this. I promise. Diane's voice from the doorway. Talking to yourself? First sign of insanity. Week 12, 24 weeks pregnant. Diane hosted a charity gala at the house. 50 guests. I worked a 14-hour shift, setting up, serving, cleaning. At 10 at night, I was visibly exhausted, pregnant belly large under the uniform. A kind older woman said, Sweetheart, shouldn't you be resting? You're pregnant. I'm fine, thank you. Diane swooped in. Oh, don't have to worry about her. She's grateful for the work. Aren't you, Emma? Yes, ma'am. The woman looked concerned. But surely she should. Diane addressed the whole room. Let me tell you about Emma. This is my late husband's daughter. Richard left her everything, the company, the house, millions of dollars. And what did she do? Gambled it away, made terrible decisions. Now she's pregnant. No father in the picture, of course. And begging for work. I keep her on out of the goodness of my heart. Because that's what Christians do, right? We help the less fortunate. Murmurs of approval from guests. How charitable of you, Diane. I stood frozen, humiliated in front of 50 people who knew my father. Emma, you're dismissed. You look tired. I walked out, my dignity in shreds. Week 14, 26 weeks pregnant. I fainted while mopping the foyer. The poison, the pregnancy, the exhaustion. My body couldn't take it anymore. Vanessa found me and screamed for help. Mom, Emma's collapsed. Diane said calmly, call 911, but make sure they come to the service entrance. I don't want ambulances at the front door. The neighbors will talk. At Mercy Hospital, doctors stabilized me. Patricia arrived, posing as a family friend. The doctor said, Miss Hart, you're severely malnourished and dehydrated. You need bed rest. If you continue working like this, you could lose the baby. I can't stop working. I have no choice. Then at least reduce your hours. And you need to eat properly. Your baby isn't getting enough nutrients. After the doctor left, Patricia held my hand. Emma, we can stop this now. You have enough evidence. We can go to the police. No, not yet. Probate closes in 2 weeks. Then we'll have everything. I can hold on 2 more weeks. This is killing you. So is the poison. At least this way, I'm choosing to fight. That evening, back at the apartment, I sat on the edge of my bed, looking at the ultrasound photo from the hospital. My baby girl, profile clear, thumb in her mouth. I opened my mother's locket, looked at the old photo. Mom, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Every day is harder. Every day I see Dad's house, his things, and she's there, living his life like she didn't kill him. I touched my belly, but I have to keep going, because if I don't, she wins. And everyone she hurt, Dad, the other men she killed, their families, they never get justice. I pulled out a small notebook and wrote, Day 98, baby is healthy, I am not. But I'm close, just 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks and this nightmare ends. Hold on, Charlie Bear, hold on. 1 week later, day 104, 27 weeks pregnant. My shift ended at 7, but Diane made me stay late to clean up after another dinner party. It was now 10:30 at night. I walked to my car in the dark driveway, carrying a trash bag to the bins. I was crying, silent, exhausted tears. A black Mercedes pulled up beside me. The window rolled down. A man's voice. Emma Hart? I startled, wiping tears. Who are you? He got out of the car, early 30s, kind eyes, strong build. My name is Marcus Reed. I need to talk to you. It's about your father. I backed away. I don't know you. Please leave me alone. Your father called me 3 weeks before he died. He said, Marcus, if anything happens to me, find my daughter, protect her. Don't let Diane win. I stopped. How did you know my father? 20 years ago, my family was homeless. My mom, my little sister, and me. We were living in our car. It was winter. My sister was sick. Your father found us in the parking lot of his store. He pulled out an old photo, young Marcus, maybe 12, his mother, and a little girl standing with Richard Hart in front of the First Heart and Home store. He gave my mom a job, gave us an apartment above the store rent-free for 2 years, paid for my sister's medicine, sent me to community college. Your father saved our lives. Tears streamed down my face. That sounds like him. When he called me, he said Diane was trying to kill him. He said he was setting a trap, but he needed someone on the outside to protect you when it was over. He made me promise. But why you? Because I owed him everything. Because I'm one of the few people Diane doesn't know about. And because your father trusted me. I was suspicious. How do I know you're telling the truth? Your father told me things only family would know. He said your middle name is Louise and your grandmother. Your favorite food as a kid was grilled cheese with tomato soup. You have a birthmark shaped like a heart on your left shoulder. And when you were 7, you made him promise to never remarry after your mom died. A promise he broke 2 years ago, and he regretted it every day. I sobbed. He told you all that? He loved you more than anything. And he knew what was coming. Emma, I've been watching you for 3 months. I know what Diane's doing to you. I know about the poison. I know you're working as her maid while pregnant, and I know you're gathering evidence. How do you know about the evidence? Because I've been gathering it too. He pulled out a thick folder, financial records, emails between Diane and David, text messages about the murder plot, photos of Diane meeting with Leonard Cross, bank transfers, everything. How did you get all this? I'm good at being invisible, and I have resources. Your father left me some money in his real will, not the fake one Diane knows about. He told me to use it to help you. I was overwhelmed. I don't understand why you do this for me. Because your father gave me a life when I had nothing. Because seeing what Diane's doing to you makes me sick. And because I promised him I'd keep you safe and I don't break my promises. Does Diane know about you? No, and we need to keep it that way. Emma, I know you're working with Patricia Monroe. I know the plan, but I want to help. Let me be your eyes on the outside. Patricia didn't mention you because your father kept us separate, two different safety nets. Patricia handles the legal side. I handle everything else. Like what? Like making sure you're actually safe, like tracking Diane's movements, like finding out about the affair. What affair? He opened another folder. Photos, David and Diane kissing in a car, entering a hotel together. Intimate texts. David Brennan and Diane have been sleeping together for 8 months, since before your father died. I felt disgusted. While my father was alive? Yes, but there's more. David's also sleeping with Claire Sutton, his business associate. She thinks he's leaving Diane for her. Diane thinks he's leaving his wife Helen for her. Really, David's planning to take the $50 million and run to the Caymans alone. He's playing them both? 3 women, actually. His wife doesn't know about either affair. He's a sociopath. I sat on the curb, overwhelmed. This is insane. Marcus sat beside me, keeping a respectful distance. I know, but Emma, you're not alone anymore. Let me help you. What can you do that Patricia can't? Patricia's an attorney. She has to play by the rules. I don't. If you need surveillance, I can do it. If you need someone followed, done. If Diane tries to hurt you, I'll know before it happens. I looked at him. Why do I feel like I can trust you? Because your father trusted me, and his instincts were good. Long pause. Okay, but I'm in charge. You report to me and Patricia, no cowboy stuff. Marcus gave a small smile. Yes, ma'am. I laughed bitterly. Don't call me ma'am. That word makes me want to throw up now. Then I'll call you Emma. Now, you're going back to that apartment Patricia set up. You're going to eat actual food, take your chelation treatment, and sleep. Tomorrow, we start building the case that puts these monsters away forever. For the first time in months, I felt a flicker of hope. 1 week later, day 111, 28 weeks pregnant. I was cleaning Diane's office when I found an invitation on her desk. Hart and Home 25th Anniversary Gala, celebrating Richard Hart's legacy and the future of the company. Black tie event, Myers Park Country Club. I photographed it with my hidden camera and sent it to Patricia. That night she called. Emma, this is it. This is when she's going to announce the sale. The gala is in 6 days. Probate closes in 7. She's cutting it as close as possible. So what do? We let her have her moment, let her think she's won, and then we show everyone the truth. How? The gala will have 200 guests, everyone who knew your father, everyone in Charlotte's business community. It'll be covered by local press. What if, right when Diane is celebrating her victory, they discover the truth about who really owns Hart and Home? You want me to confront her publicly? No, I want her to discover it. I want everyone to see her face when she realizes she's been outsmarted by the daughter she called trash. Marcus joined the call. I can hack the gala's AV system. Replace her presentation with the real ownership documents. Make it look like a technical glitch at first, then let the truth sink in. And what do? I asked. You'll be working the event. As her maid, one last humiliation. But Emma, you'll be wearing a wire, and when she realizes what's happened, she'll come after you. That's when we get the confession. My hand went to my belly. This is really happening. Are you ready? Patricia asked. I thought of my father, my mother, my baby. Yes, let's end this. The next 5 days passed in a blur. I kept my head down, worked my shifts, didn't give Diane any reason to suspect anything. 4 days before the gala, Diane was in a spectacular mood. Giddy, almost. She sang while I cleaned. 6 more days, Emma. 6 more days, and then you'll see what real success looks like. Yes, ma'am. You know what the best part is? Your father worked for 30 years to build Hart and Home. 30 years, and I'm about to sell it for $50 million. That's almost $2 million a year of his life. And I was only married to him for 2. Best investment I ever made. I gripped the mop handle tighter. You must be very proud, ma'am. She studied me. Do you hate me, Emma? I looked up. Ma'am, it's okay. You can be honest. We're alone. I chose my words carefully. I don't hate you. I'm just trying to survive. She walked closer. That's good, because hate is exhausting. I should know. I hated my first husband. He beat me. Did you know that? Left me with a black eye and a baby and $40,000 in debt. I was surprised by the honesty. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. Nobody knows. I was dirt poor, Emma, lived in a trailer park. Sometimes we didn't have electricity. Sometimes we didn't eat. My daughter, Vanessa, she wore secondhand clothes from Goodwill until she was 15. Do you know what that feels like? To be powerless. I'm learning, she laughed. Yes, I suppose you are. See, Emma, the difference between you and me is that when I lost everything, I decided never again. I would do whatever it took to never be poor again. Even murder? The words hung in the air. She went cold. Careful, Emma. You're still here at my mercy. I quickly said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I shouldn't have said that. No, you shouldn't have. Get back to work. 2 days before the gala, Grace showed up at my apartment. Patricia had given her the address. She hugged me tightly. Oh, baby girl, look at you. You're so pregnant. When are you due? 6 weeks. Grace, you shouldn't be here. If Diane finds out, I don't care what that witch does to me. I had to see you. I had to make sure you were okay. I cried. I'm not okay, Grace. I'm so tired. Then stop. Stop this plan, whatever it is. Your daddy wouldn't want you risking yourself like this. He would if it meant justice. Grace sighed. You're just like him, stubborn, brave, foolish. She pulled out an envelope. I came to give you this. I should have given it to you months ago, but I was scared. What is it? The night before your daddy died, I saw something. I was doing laundry late. Couldn't sleep. I saw Diane in the kitchen. She was putting something in his coffee mug, the blue one he always used. I leaned forward, intense. Did you see what it was? A liquid, clear, from a little bottle she kept in her purse. And Emma, she was smiling. Not like she was doing something sneaky, like she was enjoying it. Will you testify? Tell the police what you saw? I already wrote it all down. Signed affidavit, notarized. It's in that envelope. I was too scared before, but not anymore. That woman needs to pay for what she done. I hugged her. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. You be careful at that gala, you hear me? Don't you trust her for 1 second. The night of the gala arrived. Myers Park Country Club, black tie event, 200 guests. Press, photographers, local news crew. The ballroom was decorated beautifully. Photos of my father through the years, heart and home's history displayed on elegant boards. I arrived at 4 in the afternoon. The event started at 7 to set up. I wore the same gray maid uniform, now tight across my 8-month pregnant belly. I met Marcus in the service hallway. You're wearing the wire? I showed him the device hidden under my uniform, and a backup, and Patricia has a third one in my apron pocket. I've hacked the AV system. When I activate it, the screens will show the real ownership documents. Emma, are you sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything. He took my hand. Your father would be proud. Then let's make sure I survive to tell my daughter about it. At 7, guests arrived. Diane made a grand entrance in a blood-red designer gown, emerald jewelry dripping from her neck and wrists. She looked like royalty. Vanessa walked beside her in silver, looking nervous. David Brennan and his wife Helen arrived. Claire Sutton arrived separately, pretending not to know them. The 3 conspirators exchanged glances across the room. They thought they'd won. I served champagne, invisible in my gray uniform, heavily pregnant. People looked through me, not at me. One guest said to his wife, not bothering to lower his voice, "Is that the maid pregnant? How tacky." Another replied, "I heard she used to be Richard's daughter. Gambling problem. So sad." I kept my head down, kept serving. At 8, the lights dimmed. Diane took the stage. The screen behind her showed, Heart and Home, a Legacy of Excellence. She spoke into the microphone, voice trembling with fake emotion. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight to celebrate my late husband, Richard Hart's incredible legacy. Applause. 25 years ago, Richard opened the first Heart and Home store with a simple dream, to make every house feel like home. Tonight, we celebrate not just his past achievements, but the exciting future ahead. More applause. I stood in the back, watching. Richard taught me that success means knowing when to build and when to let go. That's why tonight, I'm honored to announce that Heart and Home will be joining the Cross-Tech family of companies. Leonard Cross, would you please stand? A man in his 60s stood, Leonard Cross, arms dealer disguised as tech entrepreneur. This merger will take Heart and Home into the future. Technology integration, national expansion, unprecedented growth. Richard would be so proud. The guests murmured approval. Wonderful news. What a legacy. Diane got emotional. I only wish my husband were here to see this moment. But I know his daughter, Emma, wherever she is, I know she would want me to honor his memory this way. She looked directly at me in the back, smiled. Cruel. Richard always said family comes first, and I promise I will never forget what this family means to me. My hands clenched. I stayed silent. And now I'd like to show you the future of Heart and Home. David, would you start the presentation? David Brennan stepped up and clicked the remote control. The screen should have shown Heart and Home plus Crosstech, the future. Instead, it flickered, went black. David looked confused. Technical difficulties. Just a moment. He clicked again. The screen lit up, but it wasn't the presentation. It was a document, legal paperwork, crystal clear. Heart and Home Incorporated, true ownership structure. Emma Louise Hart, 90%. David Brennan, 10%. Diane Hart, 0%. Transfer. Date, 14 months before Richard Hart's death. Notarized by Patricia Monroe, Esquire Trust. Activation, upon completion of probate. Today's date, complete silence. Diane stared at the screen, face draining of color. This is some kind of mistake. Turn that off. David, turn that off. David frantically clicked the remote. Nothing happened. The screen changed again. More documents. Richard Hart's True Will medical examiner's report showing poisoning bank transfers between Diane and David. Photos of Diane and David together. Intimate text messages about waiting for Richard to die. Gasps from the crowd. A guest said, "Oh my God, is that real?" Diane screamed, "This is fake! Someone's sabotaging me! Where's Emma? Where is Emma?" I stepped forward from the back of the room, removed my server's apron. Still in the gray maid uniform, pregnant belly prominent, but I stood tall. "I'm here, Diane." The crowd parted. 200 people stared. Diane pointed at me, shaking. You did this, you little bitch. How dare you? I didn't do anything. I just let everyone see the truth. She's lying. That paperwork is forged. I'm Richard's widow. I own... Patricia Monroe stepped forward from the crowd. "You own nothing, Mrs. Hart. I'm Patricia Monroe, Richard Hart's attorney. Those documents are authentic. Emma Hart is and has been the majority owner of Heart and Home since her father's death. The company you just tried to sell, it doesn't exist." Leonard Cross stood, furious. "Brennan, what the hell is this?" David panicked. "I don't know, I didn't." More documents flashed on screen. David's embezzlement records. $50 million stolen over 10 years. Offshore accounts. David's wife Helen stood, voice shaking. "David, what is this? What did you do?" Claire Sutton also stood. "You told me you loved me. You said we'd be together." Diane whirled on David. "You promised me this would work. You said the paperwork was perfect." "Shut up, Diane. Why should I? I did everything. I poisoned Richard for 6 months. I made it look like a heart attack. She stopped, realized what she just said. The entire ballroom went silent. 200 people, dozens of cameras, news crew. Diane's voice went small. "I didn't mean that. I didn't," Patricia said calmly. "Yes, you did. And you just confessed to murder in front of 200 witnesses." Police officers stepped forward from the crowd. They'd been there the whole time, undercover. "Diane Hart, you're under arrest for the murder of Richard Hart." Diane backed away. No, this is a setup. Emma, you set me up." I was calm, cold. "No, Diane, my father set you up. I just followed his plan. And you know what? You called me trash. You made me scrub your floors. You poisoned me while I carried my baby. But here's the truth. I've never been trash. I've always been exactly what my father raised me to be. a heart, and we never forget. Diane lunged at me. Police grabbed her. She screamed as they handcuffed her. You think you've won? You think this is over? You'll end up alone, Emma, just like me, just like your father. Oi? I touched my belly. No, Diane, I won't be alone, because I have my daughter, and she'll grow up knowing her grandfather was a hero, and her mother was strong enough to stop a monster. Police dragging Diane toward the exit. She was screaming, crying, fighting. I stood in the middle of the ballroom, surrounded by shocked guests. I was shaking but standing. Patricia came to my side. You did it. It's over. It's over, I repeated. Applause started, slowly at first, then building. 200 people applauding me. I smiled through tears, and then David Brennan stepped forward from where police were standing. Actually, Emma, it's not over. He pulled out documents from his jacket. Officers, I'm cooperating fully. I'll testify against Diane. But there's something Miss Hart doesn't know. My heart sank. What are you talking about? David showed documents to Patricia. 18 months ago, Richard Hart borrowed $50 million from me personally to expand the business. This loan is secured against his shares of Hart & Home. Unless Emma pays me back, with interest, that's $58 million, by midnight tonight, I seized 60% of her shares as collateral. Patricia took the documents, her face falling. Oh my God. That's impossible, I said. My father would never. But he did, signed and notarized. It's completely legal. And Emma, you're broke. You've been working as a maid for minimum wage. You can't even afford a lawyer. You certainly can't pay me $58 million. Patricia checked the paperwork. This is a legitimate secured debt. Emma, if you don't pay by midnight, he gets the shares. He gets a control of the company. Leonard Cross was smiling now. And I have an agreement with Mr. Brennan. The moment he owns those shares, he sells them to me for $60 million, which means I get the company anyway. My world spun. No, this can't. David addressed the crowd. I'm sorry, everyone, but business is business. Emma might own the company on paper, but by midnight tonight, she won't. And unlike Diane, my paperwork is real. Richard owed me. Now Emma owes me. It's simple mathematics. Diane, still handcuffed, laughed hysterically. Yes, David, you beautiful bastard. You beautiful bastard. I turned to Patricia. Tell me there's a way out of this. Tell me we can fight this. Patricia was pale. Not in 7 hours, Emma. I'm sorry. This debt is legal, enforceable. If you can't pay, then I lose everything. My legs gave out. I collapsed. Marcus ran from the back. Emma, I was on the floor, breathing hard. The baby. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with the baby. Contractions. I was going into labor. Call an ambulance, Marcus shouted to the crowd. No, I gasped. It's too early. I'm only 36 weeks. It's going to be okay. I've got you. As paramedics loaded me onto a stretcher, Diane's laughter echoed through the ballroom. That's what you get for trying to be a hero, Emma. You lose everything. Mercy Hospital, labor and delivery. I was in active labor. Complications from the poison, the stress, the malnutrition, everything hitting at once. The doctor said urgently, we need to do an emergency C-section. The baby's heart rate is dropping. Terror gripped me. Is she going to be okay? We're going to do everything we can. Patricia and Marcus were in the waiting room. Patricia checked her phone. It's 9:30. We have 2.5 hours to find $58 million. Marcus asked, can we get a loan against the company? Not in 2 hours. Banks are closed. And even if they were open, Emma doesn't technically own the company until midnight, when David's debt becomes due. So we're trapped. There's no way out. Patricia pulled out files. Wait, Richard gave me something months ago. He said if David ever tried to pull something like this, I should look in the safe deposit box. Box number 847392 at First National. It's 9:30 at night. The bank is closed. Not the main branch. They have 24-hour vault access for premium members. Marcus, come with me, now. They left as Vanessa arrived, crying. In the operating room, I was prepped for emergency C-section, barely conscious, holding my mother's locket. If you have to choose between me and the baby, I started. The doctor interrupted. Miss Hart, We're not choosing anyone. We're saving both of you. The anesthesiologist said, count backward from 10. 10, 9, 8. Daddy, I'm sorry. 7. I tried. 6, 5. I went under. At First National Bank, 10:15 at night, Patricia and Marcus burst into the 24-hour vault access. The bank manager protested. What's that? Monroe, it's very late. Richard Hart's box, number 8473992 now. They opened the safe deposit box. Inside, a letter addressed to me, a flash drive, legal documents. Patricia plugged the flash drive into her laptop. Oh my God. What? What is it? Marcus asked. Richard repaid David's loan 14 months ago. Look, bank transfer, $50 million. And here's a notarized document. Loan satisfied in full. All claims waived. Signed, David Brennan. But David just said he lied. He thought Richard would be dead before anyone found this. He thought he could use the same loan twice, get paid back, then claim it was never repaid. Marcus checked his watch. It's 10:30. We need to get back to the hospital. At 10:45, I woke up in recovery, groggy, confused. A nurse said, Miss Hart, you're okay. Just breathe. My baby. Where's my baby? The doctor entered with a small bundle. She's right here, 6 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfectly healthy. A fighter just like her mama. They placed the baby in my arms. I burst into tears. Hi, baby girl. Hi. I'm your mommy. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you better. The baby opened her eyes and looked at me. You're perfect. You're so perfect. Vanessa appeared in the doorway. Emma? Vanessa? She approached carefully. Can I come in? I nodded. Vanessa looked at the baby and started crying. She's beautiful. Emma, I'm so sorry. I should have stopped my mother years ago. It's not too late to do the right thing. I know. That's why I'm here. She pulled out her phone and showed me a recording. This is from last week. My mom and David talking in her bedroom. I recorded it. On the recording, Diane's voice. Are you sure the loan document will hold up? David's voice. Of course. Richard signed it. Even if he paid it back, there's no proof. I destroyed those records. Diane. And Claire helped? David. Claire notarized the original loan. She doesn't know I'm claiming it was never repaid. By the time anyone figures it out, we'll be in the Caymans. Vanessa said to me, I'll testify. I'll tell the police everything. Just please don't hate me forever. I looked at my baby, then at Vanessa. I don't hate you. I pity you. You lost your mother to greed. But Vanessa, you can choose to be better than her. She cried. I want to be. I want to be so much better. But then alarms blared. My vitals crashed. A nurse panicked. She's coding. Get a crash cart. The doctor shouted. The poison. Her liver is shutting down. She's in acute failure. I managed weakly. My baby. Take my baby. Vanessa grabbed the baby. I've got her. I've got her. Doctors flooded the room and pushed Vanessa out. I flatlined. The steady tone of the heart monitor filled the air. Vanessa stood in the hallway holding baby Caroline, sobbing. At 11:15, Patricia and Marcus arrived back at the hospital and burst into the ICU. Where's Emma? Marcus demanded. A nurse said, she's in cardiac arrest. They're trying to revive her now. Are you family? Yes, Marcus said without hesitation. We're her family. Not yet. The doctors are still working. They sat in the waiting room. Marcus put his head in his hands. She can't die, not after everything. Not after she won. Patricia said firmly, she's a heart. Hearts don't break. At 11:42, the doctor emerged exhausted. We got her back. She's stable. But it was close, very close. The chelation we did earlier probably saved her life. If she'd had any more poison in her system, we wouldn't have been able to revive her. Marcus cried with relief. Can we see her? 5 minutes. She needs rest. They entered the room. I was pale, tubes and wires everywhere, but my eyes were open. My voice was hoarse. My baby? She's perfect. Vanessa's with her. I tried to sit up. What time is it? Marcus checked his watch. 11:44. Emma? You need to rest. The debt. David's debt. I lose the company in 16 minutes. Patricia pulled out documents. No, you don't. Emma, your father repaid that loan 14 months ago. He set a trap. David's claim is fraud. Tears of relief. Dad knew. He knew David would try this. We have the proof, and Vanessa gave us a recording of Diane and David admitting the whole scheme. Emma, you won. Really won. David's going to prison for fraud. Diane's going to prison for murder. Leonard Cross is being arrested by the FBI right now. It's over. It's really over? Marcus squeezed my hand. It's really over. I closed my eyes, tears streaming down my face. At 11:59, Patricia's phone rang. Her assistant. Patricia, the probate judge just ruled. At midnight, the trust activates. Emma Hart is officially the sole owner of Hart and Home. Patricia said to me, the company is yours. The clock changed to midnight. Emma Louise Hart, 28 years old, exhausted, poisoned, just gave birth, but alive, was now worth $180 million. But as we celebrated, police burst into the room. Marcus Reed, you're under arrest. Marcus stood, hands up. What? For what? Conspiracy to commit fraud, breaking and entering, unauthorized access to computer systems. Claire Sutton filed charges this morning. I sat up, ripping out my IV. No, he was helping me, Patricia protested. Officers, I can explain. Ma'am, step aside. Mr. Reed, you're coming with us. They handcuffed Marcus. He looked back at me. It's okay, Emma, it's okay. I'll be fine. This isn't fair. He didn't do anything wrong. Your father asked me to protect you, and I did. That's all that matters. They took him away. I collapsed back onto the bed, sobbing. Patricia held my hand. We'll fight this. We'll get him out, I promise. Why? Why can't this just be over? 3 days later, I was released from the hospital with baby Caroline. Patricia drove us to a safe apartment. News played on the radio. Diane Hart was denied bail and remains in custody, facing first-degree murder charges. David Brennan is also in custody on fraud and conspiracy charges. His wife, Helen Brennan, filed for divorce yesterday. And in a related development, Marcus Reed, arrested as an accomplice, remains in jail pending hearing. How is this possible, I asked. Marcus saved me. He saved my baby. Claire Sutton is desperate. She's trying to make a deal with prosecutors, immunity in exchange for testimony. She's blaming Marcus for everything. Can we fight it? I'm working on it. But Emma, it might take months, maybe longer. I looked at baby Caroline sleeping in her car seat. He protected us. Now I have to protect him. 1 week later, I met with the FBI. I brought all of Marcus's evidence. Marcus Reed didn't break any laws. He gathered evidence of a murder. He helped me survive. Everything he did because my father asked him to. The FBI agent said, Miss Hart, we understand, but he did hack into private computer systems. He did illegally surveil. He stopped a serial killer. Diane Hart murdered at least 3 men. Marcus prevented her from killing me too. Isn't that worth something? The agent sighed. We'll take it into consideration. 2 weeks later, Marcus was released. All charges dropped. The FBI determined he was acting as a private citizen, gathering evidence of a felony. I was waiting outside the jail with baby Caroline, now 3 weeks old. Marcus walked out, saw us, and broke down crying. Emma, you didn't have to come. Yes, I did. You kept your promise to my father. You protected me. Now I'm keeping mine. You're not going through this alone. He looked at baby Caroline. She's gotten so big. Do you want to hold her? He was nervous. I don't know how. I put Caroline in his arms. Like this. Support her head. Marcus held the baby carefully. Caroline opened her eyes and looked at him. He whispered, Hi, little one. I'm Marcus. I'm a friend of your grandfather's. Caroline grabbed his finger. What happens now? He asked. Now we figure out the rest of our lives. Together, if you want. Emma, I can't ask for anything. I don't expect. I know, but my daughter needs a godfather. And I need a friend. Someone who knew my father. Someone who understands. Tears filled his eyes. I'd be honored. 6 months later, Hart and Home headquarters. My first day as CEO. I walked through the building. Employees smiled at me, respectful but warm. Professional clothes, hair pulled back, but I'd lost weight, still recovering. News played on office TVs. In the trial of Diane Hart, former housekeeper Grace Thompson was expected to testify about witnessing poisoning. However, Mrs. Thompson died yesterday of a sudden heart attack at her home. She was 55 years old. I stopped walking and stared at the TV. Patricia came up beside me. Emma, I just heard. I'm so sorry. Grace is dead? The stress of the trial, the constant media attention, her heart couldn't take it. She died because of me, because I asked her to testify. She died because Diane Hart is a monster. This isn't your fault, isn't it? Grace was safe before I came back, before I started this war. And how many people would be dead if you hadn't? Emma, you stopped a serial killer. But I couldn't save Grace. That evening at my house, a modest 3-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood, not the mansion, I rocked baby Caroline to sleep. She was 6 months old now, beautiful with dark hair, like my father in my eyes. I sang softly, "Hush, little baby. Don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird." Vanessa knocked on the door. "What are you doing here?" I asked, surprised. "My mom's parole hearing is next month." I went cold. "She's not getting parole." "I know, but she wants to see me. She sent me a letter from prison." Vanessa handed me the letter. I read it. "Vanessa, you betrayed your own mother. You destroyed our family. I hope you're happy with your choices. I hope Emma Hart was worth losing me, because you'll never see me again. As far as I'm concerned, I have no daughter. You're dead to me, Mom." "I'm sorry," I said softly. Vanessa cried. I knew she'd never forgive me, but reading it, it's like she's killed me too, just differently. "You did the right thing." "Then why does it hurt so much?" "Because she's still your mother, and you loved her. Even monsters can be loved." "Do you think I'll ever stop missing her?" I was honest. "I don't know. I still miss my dad every day. And he was a good man. I can't imagine missing someone who hurt so many people. I'm going to therapy 3 times a week, trying to understand why I enabled her for so long." "That's good. That's really good." "Emma, can I ask you something?" "What?" "Do you forgive me?" Long pause. "I'm trying to. Some days are easier than others. But Vanessa, you helped save my life. You testified against your own mother. That took courage. Or cowardice. I should have stopped her years ago, before your father, before the others. You can't change the past. You can only choose who you are now." Vanessa looked at baby Caroline. "She's beautiful. Can I hold her?" I hesitated, then nodded. Gently. Vanessa took the baby, tears streaming down her face. "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Vanessa. I'm nobody to you, but I promise I'll try to be better. For you, for your mom, for everyone." Later that night, Marcus came over. He'd become a regular fixture, helping with the baby, being supportive. "I heard about Grace. Are you okay?" I was tired. "No, but I will be." "David's trial starts next week. Are you going to attend?" "Every day. I want him to see me. I want him to know he didn't break me." Marcus set down takeout food. "You need to eat. You've lost too much weight." "I know. Food doesn't taste right anymore, since the poisoning. It'll come back. The doctor said your taste buds will heal eventually." I looked at him. "Marcus, why do you keep doing this? Taking care of me, helping with it, Caroline. You don't owe me anything." "Maybe I'm not doing it for your father anymore." "Then why?" He sat down carefully. "Because seeing you fight the way you did, it reminded me what courage looks like. And I want to be part of that. Part of building something good from all this pain. I'm not ready for anything more than friendship." "I know. I'm not asking for more. I'm just asking to be here, if you'll let me." I gave a small smile. "You can stay." David Brennan's trial. I attended every day, baby Caroline with the nanny in the back of the courtroom. Diane Hart was brought in to testify against David. She'd made a deal, testimony in exchange for possibility of parole in 25 years instead of life without. On the witness stand looking at me, "You think you've won. You think because I'm in here and you're out there that you're better than me." The prosecutor said, "Mrs. Hart, please answer the question." Diane ignored him, still looking at me. But you're not better. You're just luckier. You had a father who loved you. I had nothing, nothing. And you took away the one chance I had to be something. I stood. I didn't take anything. You threw it all away when you murdered my father. The judge banged his gavel. Miss Hart, sit down. You think I don't understand being poor? Being scared? My mother died when I was 7. My father worked 80-hour weeks to build that business. He built it with love, not murder. Easy to be noble when you inherit millions. I earned every cent of that money by crawling through hell you created. I scrubbed your toilets while you poisoned me. I served your friends while pregnant. I did everything you asked, and you still tried to kill me. Diane had tears now. Because you reminded me of everything I could never be, everything I could never have. You were loved, Emma, truly loved, and I hated you for it. That's the difference between us, Diane. When I lost everything, I fought to get it back the right way. You just killed anyone in your path. She whispered, I know, and I'll die in prison knowing that. But you'll die alone too, Emma, because no one will ever love you the way your father did. And you'll spend your whole life trying to fill that hole. You're wrong. I have my daughter. I have people who care about me. And I have something you'll never have. Peace. Diane gave a bitter laugh. Peace? You think this is peace? Waking up every day knowing that people died because of what you did? Grace is dead, Emma, because of you, because you made her testify. My voice shook. Grace died because she was brave, because she stood up to you. Don't you dare put that on me. See, you're just like me after all, justifying the casualties, telling yourself it was worth it. The judge banged his gavel. That's enough. Bailiff, remove the witness. As Diane was escorted out, she looked back one last time. Your father died alone, Emma, poisoned, scared, knowing his wife hated him. And one day, when your daughter asks about her grandfather, you'll have to tell her he married a monster. That's my legacy to your family. Tears streamed down my face. No, his legacy is that he loved me enough to save me, even from the grave. That's what I'll tell her. 3 weeks later, the verdict. David Brennan, you have been found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, embezzlement, fraud, and accessory to murder. You are hereby sentenced to 25 years in federal prison without possibility of early release. David's wife, Helen, sat in the gallery, crying. Not for him, but for the life she lost. Claire Sutton, who testified for immunity, sat alone. She avoided prison but lost her law license, her reputation, her marriage. She was working as a paralegal now, starting over. After the verdict, Claire approached me in the hallway. Emma, I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I was cold. You helped poison my father. You forged documents. You tried to frame Marcus. I know, and I'll have to live with that forever. David told me your father was corrupt, that we were doing the right thing. I was stupid enough to believe him. Because you wanted to believe him. Because it meant you'd get what you wanted. She cried. I loved him. I really thought he loved me back. He didn't love anyone, not even himself. And now you have to live with the consequences of loving a monster. How do you do it? How do you keep going after everything that's happened? I looked at her. I remember who I am. And I remember who my father raised me to be. You should try figuring out who you want to be, Claire. Because whoever you were with David, she destroyed lives. I walked away, leaving Claire sobbing in the courthouse hallway. 1 year later, Hart and Home Headquarters, boardroom. I presented to the board, now 29, healthy, stronger, confident. Vanessa sat at the table as COO. This quarter, we've opened 5 new stores and launched our sustainable home goods line. Profits are up 23%. But more importantly, we've established the Richard Hart Scholarship, $5 million annually for first-generation college students. A board member said, "Impressive work, Miss Hart." It's what my father would have wanted, building something that lasts, something good. After the meeting, Vanessa approached. You were amazing in there. We were amazing. You did half the work. Emma, I wanted to tell you, I'm thinking about changing my name. Legally, I don't want to be Vanessa Cole anymore. That name is connected to my mother. to everything she did. What name are you thinking? Vanessa Hart, if you'd be okay with that. I know I don't deserve, I interrupted. You want to take my father's name? She said quickly, I understand if that's too much. Your dad was the only real father figure I ever had, and I thought maybe I could honor his memory by, he would have liked that. He saw good in everyone, even when they couldn't see it in themselves. Vanessa cried, thank you. Thank you, Emma. But Vanessa, you have to earn that name every day by being better than your mother, by choosing love over greed. Can you do that? I'm trying. Every single day I'm trying. Then welcome to the family. They hugged, tentatively at first, then genuine. That evening at my house, Caroline was toddling around the living room at 18 months old. She had her grandfather's smile. She pointed at a photo on the wall. Grandpa. I knelt beside her. Yes, baby, that's Grandpa Richard. He loved you so much, even though he never got to meet you. Grandpa good? I cried and smiled. Yes, sweetheart. Grandpa was very, very good. Marcus knocked and entered with grocery bags. I brought dinner and something for Caroline. He pulled out a small wrapped box. Caroline ran to him. Marcus! He picked her up. Hey, princess, I got you something. He helped her unwrap it, a small stuffed dog. Caroline hugged it. Doggy! After Caroline went to play, Marcus said, Emma, I wanted to talk to you about something. I was nervous. Okay. I've been here almost every day for a year now, helping with Caroline, having dinners, being part of your life, and I'm happy, really happy. But I need to know, is this going somewhere? Or am I just the friend who helps out? I sit down. Marcus, I care about you. You know I do, but I'm scared. Scared of what? Scared of trusting someone again. Everyone I've trusted has either died or betrayed me. My father's dead. Grace is dead. David betrayed me. Diane tried to kill me. I can't go through that again. He sat beside me. I understand, and I'm not asking you to trust me completely. Not yet. I'm just asking you to let me keep showing up. Let me prove I'm not going anywhere. Tears formed. What if I can't love you the way you deserve? What if I'm too broken? Then we'll be broken together. Emma, I'm not asking for perfect. I'm asking for real. I looked at him. I'm not ready for anything official, but I'm not ready either. Does that make sense? He smiled. It makes perfect sense. We'll take it slow as you need. You're really okay with that? Your father asked me to protect you, but somewhere along the way, I stopped doing it for him. I started doing it because I wanted to, because you're the strongest, bravest person I've ever met, and I'd wait forever if that's what it took. I laughed through tears. You're such a sap. I know. It's embarrassing. They sat together watching Caroline play. Not quite a couple, but not just friends either. Something in between. Something healing. Late afternoon at Elmwood Cemetery. I stood at 3 graves, my mother Sarah's, my father Richard's, and Grace Thompson's. I placed flowers on all 3. To my mother's grave, hi Mom, I wish you were here. You would have loved Caroline. She has Dad's smile, but your eyes. Everyone says so. I touched the headstone. I found what you left me. In the locket, the key to the safe deposit box. Inside was your wedding ring. I wear it now. I showed my right hand. It reminds me that I come from love, that even when everything's dark, that love is still there. I moved to my father's grave and sat on the grass. Dad, I did it. I stopped. Diane's in prison for life. David's in prison. The company is thriving. Caroline is healthy and happy. I kept my promise. My voice broke. But I'm so tired, Daddy. Every day is hard. Every decision feels impossible. I keep thinking about what you'd do, what advice you'd give, and I miss you so much it physically hurts. I pulled out the letter from the safe deposit box and read it aloud. My dearest Charlie Bear, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and I'm so sorry I couldn't stay longer. I wanted to walk you down the aisle someday. I wanted to meet my grandchildren. I wanted so many more years with you. But I've learned that life isn't measured in years, it's measured in love. And sweetheart, you have been the greatest love of my life. From the moment you were born, you were my purpose, my joy, my reason to be better. Your mother and I talked before she died about what kind of person we wanted you to become. We didn't want you to be rich or famous or powerful. We wanted you to be kind, to be brave, to stand up for what's right, even when it costs you everything. And you are all of those things, my darling girl. You always have been. I know by now you've learned about Diane, about what she did, and I know you've probably blamed yourself, wondered if you could have stopped it, if you should have seen the signs. But Charlie, this is not your fault. Evil people exist. They charm, they manipulate, they destroy, and even the smartest, most careful people can fall for them. I fell for Diane because I was lonely, because I missed your mother so much it hurt to breathe. And Diane promised to fill that hole. But no one can replace your mother. No one will ever come close. What I'm trying to say is, don't let what happened to me make you afraid to love. Don't let Diane's poison infect your heart the way it infected my body, because that's how she really wins. Not by killing us, but by killing our ability to trust, to hope, to connect. You will love again, Charlie. You'll let someone in. And when you do, remember, your mother and I raised you to recognize goodness. Trust your instincts. Trust your heart. I've left you everything I could, money, the company, legal protection. But the most important thing I'm leaving you is this. You are enough, just as you are. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to prove your worth. You are inherently, fundamentally, absolutely enough. Be happy, my darling girl. Build a beautiful life. Raise your children with joy. And know that wherever I am, I'm watching over you, always. I love you beyond measure, beyond time, beyond death itself. Forever your devoted father, Dad. P.S. Your mother wanted me to tell you something if I ever couldn't. She made me promise. So here it is. Charlie, you are my greatest creation, my proudest achievement. And when you look at your own children someday, you'll understand. There is no love fiercer than a parent's love. Nothing can break it. Not distance, not time, not even death. We are with you always, always. I cried so hard I could barely speak. I understand now, Mama. I look at Caroline and I'd burn the whole world down to protect her. I'd do anything, everything, just like you did for me. I wiped my tears, stood, and placed my hand on my father's headstone. Thank you, Daddy, for everything, for the on, for Marcus, for believing I was strong enough to finish this. I couldn't have done it without you. I moved to Grace's grave. Grace, I'm so sorry. You deserve so many more years. You deserve to see Caroline grow up. But I promise I'll tell her about you, about how you were there when no one else was, about how you were brave when it mattered most. I'll make sure she knows. Behind me, a voice. I thought I'd find you here. I turned. Marcus. How did you know? Because it's what I do. Visit the people who matter. He walked up beside me. Are you okay? Yeah, I think I finally am. It's been a year, and I think I'm finally starting to heal. Good, you deserve peace. Marcus, I've been thinking about what you said, about taking it slow, about letting you prove you're not going anywhere. And I took his hand, and I think maybe I'm ready to try. Not jump in, not rush, but try. Real and slow and honest. He smiled. I can do real and slow and honest. But because Caroline needs stability, and I need someone who sees me, the real me, not the heiress, not the survivor, just Emma. I've always seen just Emma, from the first moment in that parking lot. They stood together at the graves, hands linked, watching the sunset. Do you think they'd approve, my parents, of you? Your father knew about me. He asked me to protect you. Maybe he hoped it would turn into this. Yeah, maybe he did. He was always 10 steps ahead of everyone. Like father, like daughter. I laughed. Come on, let's go home. Caroline's probably driving the babysitter crazy. As we walked away, I looked back one last time. I love you, all of you, and I'm going to be okay, I promise. Caroline's second birthday party. The house was full of people. Vanessa, Marcus, co-workers, friends I'd made over the past year. Laughter, children playing, normalcy. Caroline, now 2 years old, ran around in a princess dress, cake on her face. Mama, cake, I laughed. Yes, baby. I see the cake. You've got it all over you. Marcus helped clean Caroline's face. He said quietly to me, "You did good. This is exactly what your father would have wanted. A chaotic house full of sugar-high toddlers? A family. Love, joy, life." Vanessa brought over a present. "This is from me. I hope it's okay." I opened it, a photo album. On the cover, the Hart family legacy. Inside were photos of my mother, Sarah, Richard through the years, me as a child, me with baby Caroline, and photos from the last year. I cried. "Vanessa, this is beautiful." I thought Caroline should know her history, the good parts, not just the pain. "Thank you, really. This means everything." As the party wound down, I sat in Caroline's nursery, rocking her to sleep. I opened my mother's locket. Inside, the baby photo of myself with my mother. But I'd added something new. A tiny photo of Caroline. 4 generations in one locket. I whispered to sleeping Caroline, "Your great-grandma Sarah was brave. Your grandpa Richard was kind. And your mama? She's still figuring it out. But I promise you something, baby girl. You will always be safe, always be loved, and you'll never doubt that you matter." Caroline, sleepy. "Love you, Mama." I cried and smiled. "I love you too, sweetheart. More than all the stars in the sky." I closed the locket and held my daughter close. Early morning at Hart and Home headquarters. My desk, coffee steaming, sunlight through windows. On my desk, photos of my father, my mother, Caroline. The locket, a framed quote. "Built on love, strengthened by survival. Emma Hart, CEO." My assistant knocked. "Miss Hart, the Charlotte Observer is here for your interview." "Send them in." A young reporter entered, eager. "Miss Hart, thank you for meeting with me. I wanted to ask about your incredible story, from maid to CEO in 1 year. How did you do it?" I smiled. "I didn't do it alone. I had help, from people who loved me, from my father's plan, from my own stubbornness." "And what would you say to other women facing impossible situations? Women who feel powerless?" I looked directly at the camera. "I'd say, you're stronger than you think. The people who call you trash, who try to break you, who tell you you're nothing, they're terrified of your potential. Because if you're really nothing, why would they work so hard to destroy you? That's powerful." Here's what I learned. Survival isn't pretty. It's not a movie montage. It's crying in parking lots. It's eating scraps to feed your baby. It's working for the woman who murdered your father because you have no other choice. It's ugly and hard, and it breaks you. But you made it through. I touched my locket. I made it through because I remembered who I was, because I had people, living and dead, who believed in me, and because I decided that the people who hurt me didn't get to define me. What's next for Heart and Home? We're expanding the scholarship program, opening 20 new stores in underserved communities, and I'm launching a foundation, the Sarah Hart Foundation for Survivors of Domestic Violence and Financial Abuse. Your mother would be proud. Tears formed. I hope so. Both my parents sacrificed everything so I could be here, so I could build something that lasts, something good. I'm not wasting that gift. The interview ended. The reporter left. I sat alone in my office, looking out at the city. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Caroline's asking for you. She wants to show you the butterfly she found. Come home soon?" I smiled and texted back. "On my way. Tell her Mama will be there in 10 minutes. I packed up my bag, grabbed my keys, looked one more time at the photos on my desk, to the photo of my father. "We did it, Dad. We really did it." I walked out and turned off the lights. The camera lingered on the office, empty now but full of legacy. On the desk, the locket caught the last rays of sunlight, glinting like a promise. 2 years later, Diane Hart, life in prison without parole, denied parole in 2026. David Brennan, 25 years federal prison. Earliest release, 2049. Claire Sutton, Immunity granted for testimony. Disbarred. Works as a victim's rights advocate. Vanessa Hart, legally changed name. COO of Heart and Home. Celebrates 5 years sober. Marcus Reed, established the Richard Hart Memorial Foundation. Married Emma Hart in 2028. Grace Thompson, died at age 55. The Grace Thompson Scholarship Fund has helped 147 students attend college. Martin. Hart Reed, rebuilt Heart and Home to $400 million valuation. Operated 63 stores. Established multiple charitable foundations. Had second daughter in 2029. Caroline Grace Hart, now 5 years old, loves butterflies, books, and asking questions. Starting kindergarten in fall. Heart and Home now employs 2,000 people across the Southeast. The Richard Hart Scholarship has awarded $25 million to first-generation college students. The Sarah Hart Foundation has helped 1,200 survivors of domestic violence. Emma never returned to live in her childhood home. She donated it to become a transitional housing facility for women escaping abuse. She still wears her mother's locket every day. They called me trash. They tried to break me. They took almost everything. But they couldn't take what mattered. My father's love, my mother's legacy, my daughter's future. I'm not the same girl who scrubbed floors and ate scraps. I'm not the naive daughter who trusted too easily. I'm a mother. I'm a CEO. I'm a survivor. But more than that, I'm someone who learned that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about choosing to heal, choosing to trust again, choosing to build something beautiful from the ashes. Grace died. My father died. So many people were hurt by Diane's greed. But they didn't die for nothing. Because now I live for all of them. I raise my daughter with the love my parents gave me. I run the company with the integrity my father built it on. I give second chances because Vanessa taught me that people can change. And I let Marcus love me. Not because I'm fixed, but because I'm finally brave enough to be broken in front of someone. The Hart women don't break. My mother told me that when I was little. She was wrong. We do break. We shatter into a million pieces. But then we put ourselves back together. And we're stronger for it. That's the real Hart legacy. Not wealth, not power, not revenge, resilience, love, and the courage to keep going when everything tells you to stop.